Hello everybody, welcome to the Peggy Mercer YouTube channel. And I like to say the channel is called Writing for Love and Maybe Money. This channel is becoming known far and wide as the writing channel. And I'm so glad you're here today. It is Monday. It is May the 21st. And I will tell you that my new song that just came out is doing very well, and it is has been added to a chart on the West Coast. If you get a chance to hear Lori Hardman on iTunes or YouTube or CD Baby or some of those sites, she is singing a song I wrote called House Beside the Road. And I would appreciate it if you give that a listen. It would mean so much to me to know that you listen to that. If you remember correctly, when I left off a week ago now on the writing channel, I had promised you guys that I would get back to talking about writing after having done about 3 or 4 sessions in songwriting, which I was so excited about my song and I appreciate it so much. Now, I am going to be talking about writing a children's book in the next 3 to 4 or 5 sessions. Who knows how long I'll go, but I am here to help you write your children's book. Don't you forget some of the things that I tell you, because I've got the tricks to the trade. My book, of course, you remember, won the Georgia Author of the Year, and that's not some fly-by-night organization either. That's the elite authors circle in Georgia. So I did win that in 2011 for my early reader, Peach When the Well Run Dry. I have written other children's books, as you can see, and I will show you some of them and talk about how I wrote them in the next few sessions, because I want you to be able to write your children's book and have some great success with it. Now, so I do have the song out, and I just mentioned that, and I will be talking to you guys about writing your children's book. And one of my friends the other day said they wanted to write a children's book, and she also said she was a poet and didn't know a whole lot about writing for children. And I said, well, just because you've written some poetry, I don't even know if I like the poetry or not, because I haven't read it. But I can tell you one thing, that does not qualify you to write a children's book. And I can tell you what does qualify you to write a children's book is that you know a lot about writing for children. You know a lot about pace, intention, character development, so on and so forth. And they are golden magic tricks that you will use in your children's book. And I plan to go over all of those tricks and devices and tools that we use. It's almost harder to write a children's book than it is to write a book for adults, because you don't have but so many pages and you don't have but so many sentences per page if it's a children's storybook. Now, this book up here, Peach When the Well Run Dry, which is also, let me mention, sold in Washington by the very elite Children's Defense Fund, which I know I've mentioned that 1,000 times before, but I'm just so proud of that book. But this is an upper reader for middle school, for young kids coming up in elementary school all the way through middle school. And it was published in New York by Marimba Justice Books. And I had the fabulous honor in my lifetime of working with Wade Hudson and his staff there. And this book is just it's just a book that it's about friendship, children looking to find water because the water has gone dry. I'd like to get this book on the Weather Channel sometime, because it does focus on water conservation, and I think there's a lot to be said about that book. Of course, what else can I say? It's a big time award winner, bestseller. It just was a wonderful children's book. Now, how do you write an upper reader? How do you write a children's storybook? What if you start out and you just want to do a board book? What if you don't draw and you're not an illustrator? What are you going to do? How are you going to get the illustrations of this book? Well, I'm going to talk to you about all that. I'm going to tell you all that. I'm going to tell you how to do that. Don't you think I'm not going to? I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about writing a children's book. So if you want to write a children's story, just like an adult novel or some kind of a book for adults, writing for children, you also must have a great idea. Now, this great idea must relate to children. Now, if you're writing for children, that's one thing. But if you're writing for adults to read to children, that's quite another thing, and it's a whole different category. And my advice to you is, if you're going to write for children, you must be around children. In other words, you've got to know what you're doing. You have to know your subject. You have to know how children walk, how they talk, how they act. Sometimes one of my girlfriends has the cutest little grandson. Her name is Judy Truelove and Benson, and she and I were raised up friends. And she's got a wonderful musically gifted son called Solomon. And Solomon has this little boy, and he is the cutest thing. He likes to make faces. If you take his picture, he could be doing like this, or he could be doing like this. But he's always making faces. So he has just got the cutest personality. You have got to be around him and other children in order to write a book for children. If you write a book for children, you have to know how they walk, how they talk, how they act, what they like, what they don't like, what scares them, what makes them happy. Do they pray at night? Do they play on the baseball team? So you have to develop your character, and he has to be a child if he's going to succeed in your children's book. So we're going to talk about developing the children, developing the characters for your children's book. Now, somebody told me the other day they wanted to write a book about animals, like I did in my children's book, 10 Cows to Texas, which was a big success. And we just all had so much fun with 10 Cows in Texas with the art by Billy Cruz out in California, and I can already tell you this was a fun book. Published by Marimba in New York, and this became part of Chronicle Book, and it's actually sold out. You can get a copy. I was sitting in a beauty shop one day, and some of my teacher friends and my lifelong friends, Linda McKinnon was one of them, and she was in there having her hair done, and she always wore the lady in the beauty shop always put Linda's hair up in a beehive hairdo. That beehive hairdo shows up in that book, Peach with a Well-Run Grind. It also shows up in some other books that I've written for children. And Linda was sitting in there getting her hair done, and I was thinking to myself, I had already started thinking of my new plot for my new children's book. And this is a children's storybook. It is a little text heavy, but it is also illustration heavy. And you saying, well, I don't draw. I don't know where to get somebody to paint the pictures. Well, I'm going to tell you all that. I will tell you the ultimate trick for finding a great illustrator, okay, and connecting with them for your children's book. If you will just hang on to this YouTube channel, and if you will follow with me through the sessions on writing a children's book, you're going to find out where to get your illustrator for your award-winning children's book, okay? Now, a great idea for children. And you remember what I'm always saying. Are you writing a book for children? Are you writing a book for adults to read to children? There's a big difference in that. And I'm going to teach you how to write books for children. And we're going to start with how to write a children's storybook for the little kids, maybe 4, 5, 6 years old through about 8 or whatever. Now, we're then going to talk about the early readers or the first chapter book. They will have a sprinkling of pictures, sketches, but they won't have the pictures that the storybook will have, and I'm going to tell you all about that in the next video. We will continue about writing for children in the next video. I want you to come up with your idea. My ideas always revolve around something I have experienced in my childhood. So I tell writers that if they're going to have very many readers that will love their work, they are going to have to bleed a little. They're going to have to get into their heart and just pull out all the stops, and they're going to have to come up with something that they have loved in their childhood and remember in their childhood. I had a friend that made a comment on my Facebook page. Some guy posted a real good photograph of a little boy's cap gun loaded with caps. And when he started saying that, I could just smell it. Can't you just smell those burning caps that have just been banged into your buddy down the road? I can smell that when I talk about it. So we've already talked in my writing channel about writing with the senses, and this applies to children's book, major application. These children are going to have to smell it, see it, feel it, touch it, and be scared of it or be happy with it. I will tell you where to get started. Prepare to take notes. I am going to be doing one writing video a week during the summer months because I've got so much going on. I've got all these cats in here. If you want to send a donation to the cats, please message me and do that. I could use $500,000 easy. But anyway, what I want to say about writing for children, I'm going to tell you in these videos. In the next video, which is going to be next Monday, I'm going to tell you where to start, and I'm going to tell you some tricks of the trade that we writers of children's books use to have bestsellers, okay? What separates out this little writing, and how is this book put together? How are the illustrations added in? Why illustration? Why pictures? And so on and so forth. And I'm going to tell you how all this works and all this fits together. And you will be able to write a great children's book when we get through. This video and my YouTube channel does not cost you one dime. The whole world is inflated with this incredible, like I keep saying, mayonnaise $5 a jar. I have never in my life seen such a dire situation in this nation, and that's why I'm voting Trump. Now, I am going to load you guys up with a real hot video. After a while, I'll probably do it today wearing the same blouse. But I'm going to talk about Trump in a video, so you can rest assured that you don't want to miss that one either. But the writing news is coming back to you next Monday, and I'm going to take you through the writing of the children's book and tell you where the illustrations come from and how they fit in. I'm glad I'm back. I hope the kittens will find some really great homes or get to go on vacation somewhere. And I'm having a good time. I thank the Lord for this writing channel. People can say what they want, but I'm all on fire for God, and I'm all on fire for great children's books. And I'll see you guys on Monday.